All right, here we are. It is gone past 6:30. This is Smooth Breakfast and Business Express. More importantly, on Smooth Breakfast, as Rotus joins me for today's episode. Good morning, Rotus. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, Shakwe. Good morning to all our listeners and viewers. Good to be with you all for the week.
All right, now do remember you can send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 440 981 to join the conversation. You can also go over to youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos, where we are streaming live right now. And you can use the hashtag BusinessExpress981 up on Twitter. All right, so Rotus, diesel prices keep on climbing higher. What is going on here?
Yeah, it's a really rough.
Rotus, give me 1 second. There seems to be a slight issue, but you know what, people? When it comes to technical issues, we can figure those out quite quickly. So, like I said, you can call us. You can send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 440 981. And like I was saying, so Yes. So diesel prices have been climbing. Numbers we're seeing is like 599 naira now per liter. What is going on there?
Yeah, that is it. That is a 215% climb from where it was in January of 2021. In fact, somebody, a representative from Ibom Air, was talking to the media about how tough things have become with respect to diesel prices, and it looks like it's causing delays at airports where the price is so high now. There's an issue with availability. You can hear me, yeah?
All right, looks like we're having a slight issue.
You can hear me? Oh.
We're just trying to work on it right now. We will just go over to youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos, where we are streaming live and you can hear everything in bright and beautiful glory. But yes, we are going to keep going on now, Rotus, as we work on it. But yes, you were in the middle of saying, of telling us what's going on.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, we've been touching on this now. We were touching it when it was 400, and now it's gone over 400. It's approaching 600 naira a liter. And diesel is a derivative of crude. And you've seen where crude oil prices have been going. Yesterday, U.S. President Joe Biden announced that the U.S. would be banning imports of oil, gas, LNG, liquefied natural gas, and coal from Russia. And that has sent oil prices climbing again. I checked yesterday, they were about 132. Let me see if oil prices have actually moved since yesterday, last I checked. Well, they've come down a bit. That one Brent crude is at $130 a barrel right now. So it's still up there. And so prices have been rising. And for airline operators, it is rough. It is really, really rough. You're going from diesel costs of 190 per liter in January of 2021 to about 360 per liter at the end of 2021. Then by the end of February, you're approaching 410 to 440. And now in March, first week of March, you're at 599, 590, 599 in Lagos, Abuja, and some other territories. So for airline operators, you have to ask yourself if it's worth it. And remember, this is coming just a week after the Federal Competition Commission said that airlines had colluded to raise prices. And the reason why they raised prices was because diesel costs were so high. Now, they're saying that, I mean, there's some flights, it's been reported that some flights have been canceled because they just, the costs, there's not available fuel. First of all, jet fuel isn't available. And then when it is available, you're paying $5.99 for it. So that's led to cancellation of some flights. So at this point, the way I see things working out for the airlines is that they would have to hike ticket prices in order to make it sensible for them to be able to fly. It's no different from a taxi driver or an Uber or a ride-hailing company that suddenly sees the cost of, petrol spiking by 200%, it will have to filter through to the cost of rides that you charge for people to hop in your vehicle. So that's what we're seeing. It's a really tough situation. And this is why they call it demand destruction. This is called demand destruction, when the price of an item gets so incredibly high that it impacts demand and people we don't want it. That's what we're seeing. Wow. So if this conflict in Ukraine and Russia continues to compound issues, you're going to keep seeing prices rise, and it's really rough. It's pretty much impacting. Pretty much, it's casting from transportation. It filters through everywhere else. So it's a really, really tough issue.
Rotus, how are airlines going to survive this? Will they be able to survive this? And if they don't survive this, are we looking at what the government and Nigeria Air coming out and being the sole provider of transports?
It's a tough. The only way they can survive it is if they are allowed to raise prices. Because if flights are grounded, then they're going to have to let go of staff. That's what's going to happen first. So you have to start shedding your cost metrics. So you have to let go of staff. Remember, during the pandemic 2020, a number of layoffs were announced. If after the layoffs prices are still high and they can't raise prices, then they'll stop flying. And once they stop flying, that's where the problems will really, really get bad. So the next move now is either the government announces some support scheme for them and gives them some money, or they're allowed to raise prices, which means ticket prices will go up and you have to think twice before you fly. So that's where we are right now.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we've actually got people coming in with their messages up on WhatsApp. And Elkoma actually says, I sent in a picture, and he's saying this thing is 600 Naira per liter right now. 604 Naira per liter, he says.
And look, it's not just airlines, though. I mean, you have to think about people, businesses, the massive hotels, anybody who buys diesel for generators. I don't want to speculate, but I was at an estate yesterday. It's a popular estate in VI overlooking the river. For some reason, they had like a power outage for over a half hour. Now, I think about a month ago, they said they had to raise power tariffs. Now, that's electricity, though. That's on tariffs now. They had to raise tariffs for their residents, but I believe they run on diesel generators, right?
Those tariffs are already high, but okay.
They're pretty high, exactly, right? Yeah, so they had to raise tariffs because the amount of time they spend running the generators is costing them money. If the diesel increase filters through to them and the generators that they're using are diesel generators, that's for the large ones, right? Industrial sized ones that can power an entire estate. You're probably going to see another announcement for increases. The National Association of Road Transport Operators complaining that they can't carry fuel from the depots to the fuel stations because the cost of diesel is impacting their margins. I mean, just think of anybody, pure water trucks that move pure water up and down. Transportation in this country is by road, 99% of it. So anyone that is affected by anyone who uses diesel for day-to-day operations is going to be impacted. So it's pretty rough.
All right, so we've got people just sharing their war stories when it comes to diesel. Olatunde from Ikeja says, I called my diesel supplier yesterday night around 8 p.m. and the best price he gave me was 645 Naira per liter. He goes on to say, the last price I paid was 345 Naira per liter, and that was less than a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah, how are people going to be able to keep up with these changes in such a short, with such a short turnaround? And Benga Kamu says market forces are pulling prices up. Maybe there's a supply disruption, Abby, or is it the Nigerian factor at work again? He also goes on to say, even if the airlines raise prices, will they get enough patronage to make the flights worthwhile? And this is, you've already spoken about this, demand destruction, right?
Exactly.
Very, very apocalyptic term that I just learned.
Yeah, I know it's tough. I mean, you have to think twice about, and when prices go up, people start to think twice about whether or not they want to use that particular service. But now, because of the issues with road transportation, the really bad roads causing accidents, and the insecurity, that's pushed a lot of people to fly. So now, if you have costs going up for flying and you don't want to enter any issues with armed robbers or bad roads, you may just, people will probably revert to virtual conferences, and they'll just have to use another means of communication to avoid having to travel somewhere to meet up with people for some business or whatever. Holidays could be impacted. I mean, you just have to think about the spillover effects of all this. It's really tough.
Wow. And Yinka Bolu sends in this message saying, can locally produced meet the Jet A1 demand? At least an informed modular refinery dedicated to Jet A1, and every other thing is the byproduct. Yes, we can. Are we doing it? No. It shows the sorcery in this part of the world and shows how short-sighted we are. That's what Yinka Bolu has to say about this.
Refineries would help. But then, I mean, you're still, even if you have a refinery, your crude oil is priced at an international market prices. Market forces still have to deal with it. So you are refining something that you're buying that, well, I mean, you're getting it from the ground, yes, and refining it, but it is still priced in dollars. And so you that has the refinery, you have to make a profit on the fuel that you are refining. So that fuel costs, the cost is high, that's going to actually pull through to your refined products. We'll save on freight costs. We'll save on landing costs, since you don't have to import it from outside. Those costs will be saved. But, in the long, when you still, even if you back out those costs, if prices are rising internationally.
All right, as we wait for Rotus to just jump back on, we've got this message in, another one in from Yinka Bolu, who says, the diesel price is not making your tankers work or supply products. I beg, how many liters are you going to consume delivering a product? Must the international pricing affect us? No. But somehow, Yinka Bolu, it is affecting us right now. And there is another story that I know that Rotus was going to touch on, and is planning on touching on, rather. And that is the story of a vaccine plant turning up in Nigeria. So this will be a very interesting one, as pharma giant Moderna is, actually, no, sorry, not turning up in Nigeria, actually, but going into Kenya. So pharma giant Moderna has decided to cite its $500 million vaccine plant in Kenya, and we're looking at, looks like Nigeria was just bypassed for this. However, we did have news coming out yesterday of an American multinational that's going to be starting up a plant here in Nigeria, and that is Kimberly-Clark. So I know Rotus and I had spoken about that off air, and that's quite an interesting one as well. But that is all we've got time for, really, on Business Express for today. But do make sure that you go and check Rotus out on Twitter. He will be able to continue the conversation, because you know what, I don't do it as much justice as he does. So he will be able to continue the conversation up on Twitter. You can find him. He is at Rotankot, and that is spelled ROTANKWOT. Okay, let's see if Rotus is back on right now. Hello, Rotus. Can you hear me? All right. So, he is joining us just in time for us to say goodbye. Anyway, so Rotus, I've already told people that they can contact you up on Twitter, because I could not do that Moderna story as much justice as you obviously can, right?
No problem. I guess tomorrow is another day. Thanks.
Exactly. Tomorrow is another day. But thank you for joining me. It's been an interesting Business Express, but tomorrow it'll be even more engaging. So make sure you join us there. All right. Thank you, Rotus. See you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks,
it will be at 6:13 every single weekday right here on Smooth Breakfast. It is Business Express. Coming up, great music as we count down to 7:30 when Freshly Pressed comes about.
Business Express. Brought to you by InterSwitch. Transaction solutions you can depend on.